Hi, I'm Jen.
I'm Marisa. We love TV and we love K-dramas.
So welcome back. This is our February podcast to kind of get you all caught up. Like our January podcast, we're going to talk about what everybody is currently obsessed with, some exciting casting news that we've cobbled together, and some interesting little news tidbits.
And then we will also deep dive one of our favorites, and this month it's Ju Ji Hoon.
Yes, we've gotten Ju Ji Hoon from like all year. Like he's just been on a trek, so we felt it fit, right, to discuss him now.
Absolutely, because if we talk about what everyone's obsessed with, the trauma code, Heroes on Call, is
the longest title ever. Trying to hashtag that thing on Blue Sky is a nightmare. It doesn't even stay on one line. It always goes to the next line. It's just like, we need to cut this down. Yeah.
And like, where did it land in Netflix's global top 10? Because it's done incredibly well all across the world, right?
It did really, really well. I want to say it landed at least in the top 5 globally. I think it might have even been higher, but I don't think it ever went lower than 5 in its in the first run, which was really exciting, which I hope means we're getting more.
Well, what's amazing about it is there's no romance. It's a straight, what would you call it? Because it's a little dramatic. It's a little full of adventure. It's a little fantasy, hot shot, jumping out of helicopters kind of drama. It's a medical drama.
Right. It's like Mission Impossible medical team.
It is. Yeah. And office politics, 2 young rising stars. And then Ju Ji Hoon, just swaggering his way through the hospital halls and the surgical, operating rooms.
Right. Which I'm not going to lie. When it landed, it was exactly what I needed. End of January, all I needed was Ju Ji Hoon just swaggering and just having no fucks to give. That's all I needed. And that was all I pretty much had bandwidth for. So it was everything I needed. And I think a lot of people felt the same way because it did so well, like you said, with no romance, zero romance. And I find that really interesting because the other show that everybody's obsessed with is Study Group. Another show that has zero romance. And we just become so jaded with romance that we are we just want fantasy victories now. Romance, we don't need it anymore. It's really interesting.
Maybe because I think with the way the world is right now, it's not love that we need. It's not romance right now. It is people who stand up to bullies, right? It's kick-ass doctors who are also black ops. know what they're doing.
Black ops for good. It's right. Wait, what's happening? What?
Or high school kids that, who are essentially in a fight club in high school.
All because they're just trying to find a place to study. I think that's the greatest. It's the greatest setup ever. And my favorite part about how popular Study Group is that no one on Blue Sky or any of the people in our crew, none of us had it even on our watch list. We're I can't handle another high school bully drama. I cannot. I have zero bandwidth for it. And then slowly people were wait a second, I watched it. It's really good. I'm what do you mean it's really good? They're it's hilarious. I'm wait, what? It's bullying. They're it's not. And then slowly you see everyone on Blue Sky, all us Ajumas being this is the greatest show of 2025.
It's I don't know why it's captivated us because it's violent, but in that cartoon way. But also there's a sense of humor to it.
Yes.
Or a wink to the camera kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think there's also that, again, what you had said, how do I say this? It's almost he's our savior, for lack of a better word. We all want that friend who secretly is a 12 level black belt who will save us from all the bullies of the world, right? Out of nowhere. And I just think that it's so cathartic to watch it every week. And then this past week, we found out that mom also is a badass. And so there's a lot of levels to it that you're just yes. And not everybody's a badass. We have our 2 little nerd nicks that are in charge of HQ, who I just love more than words can say because they have no fighting ability at all, but they're part of the team. And it just feels very, I don't know, it just feels very cathartic and inclusive, and I really enjoy it.
So I'm hearing rumblings about wanting season 2 for both of these shows. Nothing's confirmed yet, but hopefully they're going to come along because especially with a global hit like that on Netflix, you know, they're going to want to tap that mine again. But then also with Study Group, I think you pointed out, Jen, in our live chat on Sunday that these kids are in 10th grade.
Right. The kids in the show are in 10th grade. Everyone else is nearing 30. So we're going to have to get season 2 in there pretty quickly, especially with our main guy, from what I'm reading, is heading off to military. So we're going to lose him for 2 years. So we better get season 2 filmed very quickly. Otherwise, they're going to come back as men. It's going to be like, wait a second, what's happening? The interesting thing about Trauma Code is that even the writer, the creator of it, who created the webtoon and the script for this season 1, he even said, I have it set up for multiple seasons, depending on how well it did. And so since it did well, I kind of feel like we are going to be getting more. So fingers crossed that's going to happen. So.
Excellent.
So that's what everybody in our little corner of the K-drama landscape is obsessed with. Let us know in the comments below if there's something else that you're obsessed with. Let's move on to some exciting casting news. I just kind of want to throw out that some of this isn't new casting news. It's just new to us. Because there's some that I'm like, how did I miss that? And Marisa's like, how did we miss this? Did we know about this? And we're all like, no, that's amazing. So yeah, some of these are already in production, but I did not know about them. And the one that really surprised me was this one. It is Song Hye Kyo and Gong Yoo are in a drama together, you guys, called Slowly Intensely. But it's by No Hee Kyung. So that is another collaboration with Song Hye Kyo. It's the third time, right? So she did Worlds Within and that Winter the Wind Blows. So it's the third time with her. So yes, Marisa, we've spoken about that one before.
The Johnniest mellow ever.
Right?
Have they been in a drama together before?
No, that's the thing. I'm just like... What? Also is the same director who did Coffee Prince. So we have the Gong Yoo reunion with the Coffee Prince director, and you got the Song Hye Kyo with her mellow writer collaborator. And so this is a 22 episode series with a production budget estimated to exceed 70 billion. I'm starting to get nervous for them because of how bad When the Stars Gossip bombed. And it's going to be released on Netflix, right? And so the basic gist from what I've understood is that it is about the beginning of the production world of K-dramas, essentially. It's like back in the day. So it's like, it's going to be aggressive. It's going to be aggressive.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of super excited about it. Because there's going to be some scenery chewing going on.
When is this coming out? Do we know?
It says, according to this article, it is going to be in the first half of the year, but so by June is what they're saying. So it's coming out. And that's why I don't know if you guys have noticed in some of her photos, Song Hye Kyo, she's got the short hair, and that's what she cut it for. She cut it for this.
Oh, drama. I did see that. Like hairstylists across Korea saying, you cannot get this haircut because you do not look like Song Hye Kyo. And it's not a trendy haircut. It's a retro haircut. So don't fall for don't think that this is where you should be going, ladies.
Do not, ladies. Do not. You have to have a very specific look to pull this one off. Yes. So that was one that I was like, I just was not aware of it coming. I think I might have noticed that it was being discussed, but I had not realized that it would become official. Another one that I feel like we knew peripherally, but I didn't really realize was actually happening is the new Sunseok one called Heavenly Ever After. And it is Sunseok and Kim Hae-ja from Radiant. And the setup is that they are a couple that on Earth grew old together. He dies. He says as he's dying that she was beautiful when she was 20, when she was 40, and most beautiful now at 80. And so when she dies in heaven, they're like, how old do you want to spend your eternity as? And she's like, because her husband said she was the most beautiful at 80, chooses 80. And then she runs into him and he chose 30. And so in heaven, it's Sunseok and Kim Hae-ja. And I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited. Though I will say it's directed and written by the guy who did Radiance. I'm also expecting at some point to get it just absolutely gut punched somewhere.
This setup is so perfect and so hilarious already. And I cannot wait to see the two of them as this long married couple. This excites me to no end.
To no end. So that one I was just like, yeah, I think I texted you and I was like, did you see this? Because they put out like a trailer and I was just like, cannot wait. So that one is a high point. This one is just fun because it's basically like Indiana Jones in Chosun era, and I cannot wait. It is An Bo-hyun, Claudia Kim, Lee Sung-min, and Han Yun-kyung are confirmed for God's Beads. And I'm beyond excited for this. Also, it is described as a military action romance, which I don't think we've ever put those three words together in our K-drama viewing, which I'm super excited about. Set in 1258. It's Goryeo. Goryeo Dynasty, 30-year war with the Mongolian Empire was reaching its peak. The drama will tell the story of an expedition team's heroic fight as they fight and search for their country's sacred relics and the struggles of the princess who sets out to save them.
Oh my God.
Claudia Kim
as like Goryeo archaeologist, Indiana Jones. What?
Yes. And Claudia Kim is the princess who is set out to save them. Yes. Sign me up. I am seated.
I can't wait to see the two of them together because I don't think she's had a role that's worthy of her quite yet.
1000%.
She's taken some really interesting roles, but I'm looking forward to this one.
Yes. I hope we get like kind of her sassy Japanese young son creature kind of vibe, but not the devil incarnate version of it. Like the more of just the princess getting her shit done version, because she was amazing in that. Horrible, but amazing.
Yeah.
This one also falls into the category of, hey, this sounds exciting, but I didn't know about it. Netflix has confirmed a production with Shin Hae-sun and Lee Jun-hyuk's K-drama, which they're reuniting after Stranger. I'm so excited.
Yes. Well, they've certainly since then, he has blossomed into this romantic lead. So is this a drama or is this a romance drama?
I think this one is a drama. It is called The Art of Sarah and tells the story of a woman, Sarah Kim, who is identified as the victim of a murder case. So she's a man, Moo Kyung, who investigates her. So I guess I don't know if maybe they won't even share the screen.
But you know what? I like both of them in dramas. So this should be a good challenge.
So I'm looking forward to this one immensely. But yeah, it's good to see them reunited because they were such a good pairing in Stranger. God, I loved them in that. She gave him his heart. That's where it was. I loved it. Let's see. We got a couple more. We'll wrap that up and get on to news. Marisa, I knew nothing about this one. Did you know about Byung-Moo Suk and IU in a new MBC K-drama?
I remember that there was, at the end of the year, there was just this flurry of casting news. It was like every major K-drama actor paired with another major K-drama actor. And there was just so much that one, because it's a big deal, right? His next project.
Right? And I don't know what, you know how certain pairings you're like, yes, this one is a yes. Like I'm super excited to see these two go head to head. And this one is called A Wife of 21st Century Prince. And it was officially confirmed that the director of Alchemy of Souls has officially signed on to direct this one. So I'm super excited about that because Alchemy of Souls was a pretty fun project. And this one it's set in the 21st century in a constitutional monarchy in Korea. The K-drama will explore the romance between two royals, a conglomerate heiress frustrated with her commoner status, and the son of a king whose life is transformed after meeting her. Listen, I don't care. I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be fun. She's fun. Yeah. I enjoy her a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This should be spunky, this one.
Right? A lot of fun and great matchups, in my personal opinion, for this group of casting that we've got this month. Moving on to our big news bites that kind of have come our way since the last time we've chatted. The first one is kind of sad, actually. Kim Sae Ron, unfortunately, passed away this past week. She was only 24.
She was only 24. She died on February 16th, and a friend of hers found her. And it's terribly tragic in so many ways, the news pieces and a lot of the commentaries on this. So actually, you can get our unfiltered thoughts in our members only podcast, because she's the tragic victim of yet another pressure cooker, medicine fueled attack on a young woman who was trying to make up for the mistakes that she had made, and that she was not kind of allowed to be forgiven is horribly tragic. So we have a lot of thoughts on that, but those are in our members only podcast, because Jen and I will probably share very, very strong feelings about this.
Very strong feelings, because this is just getting ridiculous. That these poor entertainers cannot even remotely step out of line a little bit without getting completely and utterly eviscerated. It's just tragic. So let's move on to Lee Dong Wook, which will bring us joy. They finally confirmed the premiere date for Lee Dong Wook's next drama, The Divorce Insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Dong Wook is coming back to us March 31st. Yay! They put out the teaser poster, and they also have put out the table read, some of the early table reads, and it looks super fun. And it's going to be Lee Dong Wook, Lee Ju Bin, Lee Kwang Soo, and Lee Da Hee. And I think that is going to be a fun group of wacky people selling divorce insurance. Taxi Driver Season 3 is coming back, if anyone cares. And all the cast is returning. Huzzah! And I really enjoyed the cast. I just thought Season 2's writing was not... I honestly barely remember what Season 2 was about. I remember Season 1 quite well, but I barely remember what Season 2 was about. But I do like this crew. It's Lee Ji Hoon, Pyo Ye-jin, Kim Il-sung, Jung Hyuk-jin, and Bae Ram. Like, the Rainbow Taxi team is a fun team. If they can get back to, like, the capers. I think they stopped doing the capers in Season 2, and it kind of took a little bit of the joy out of it.
Well, let's hope, because Season 1 was a ride, and Season 2, I don't even think I could get through one episode.
Oh, no. You dropped it that soon? Oh, no.
Yeah, it was, like, not doing it for me. And I do love Lee Ji Hoon so much, so,
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
I think coming up in March, we get him in his silver hair of gloriousness.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun. And now is the time for our February deep dive. Ju Ji Hoon, the man of trauma code, Heroes on Call. He is so much fun. I have enjoyed him so much this year. He has been in, oh my gosh. We haven't seen him since Jiro-san, right?
Right.
In a drama. Then he showed up in Blood Free, then Love Your Enemy, Light Shop, Drama Code Heroes on Call, and then he just had a cameo in The Witch. Like, the man, someone on Blue Sky said, the man is working like he's got a hidden family somewhere. He's just working like crazy. So Ju Ji Hoon, I guess his family name is Ju Young Hoon. He changed it to Ju Ji Hoon. He was born May 16th, 1982, which makes him a Taurus, y'all. He's 42 years old. Yes. Marisa, when did you meet Ju Ji Hoon?
I met him very early in my K-drama watching because Coffee Prince was one of the first dramas I watched. Like, at the time, after Descendants of the Sun, I started looking up, like, what are the important or the big or the really good K-dramas to watch. And Coffee Prince with Gong Yoo was one of them. And Yoon Eun-hae was the female lead in that. And she was super spunky and super fun. And I really liked her. So I watched Princess Hours, which was so different. She was still spunky and she still has this kind of sparkle in her eyes. But she played a commoner who was betrothed to the prince. So it was as if there's still a royal family in modern days. This came out in 2006, and Ju Ji Hoon played the young prince who they had to marry each other in high school.
Oh my goodness.
But it was super sweet. It was really adorable. And he was really funny. But you could tell he was very new to acting. I think this was his first role. He was definitely a model. Now he's an actor kind of thing.
Yep. That was his first drama in 2006. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is his first foray into acting. I did not meet him that early. But even when I started my drive through K-drama classics, again, it was 2006, so that probably was off my radar. I did not meet him until we went and saw Along with the Gods.
Oh.
I know. And I was like, who is this? He's so funny. Like, it was like I was attracted to him more in his humor. Like, he was just such a funny actor, and the character he played in Along with the Gods, like he just balanced out all the heavy drama so well that I just really, really enjoyed him. And then in the second one, the super heavy storyline that he got, I was like, oh, he's really good. And then we moved into Kingdom, and I was like all in. I'm like, I'm all Ju Ji Hoon all the time. Like, whatever he does, I'm gonna be watching it. It was, yeah. So that was my Ju Ji Hoon journey.
So then you kind of missed the controversy that happened with him.
Yes.
When you met him, he was already on the other side of that.
Yes. Though I did notice, when I did, when you do the deep dive and you're like, I like this actor, let me learn more about them. It was like the scandal came up, and it did seem to be that, like, Along with the Gods was like one of his kind of return movies after the scandal. It seemed to be, at least a little bit. It does seem like he had a couple of things that happened, but yeah, I was like, oh, his scandal did kind of derail him for a bit. And I read a few articles about his scandal and how he just was like, he wasn't sure he was going to be able to act again. And it was just a huge mess.
So this was a drug scandal that he was involved in, and he was sentenced, but it's a little unclear to me whether he actually served any time or if he just went right into the military. But it looks like, in the way that so many actors are not, he was forgiven and he was able to reclaim his career. Not at the level that he had prior, like he kind of had to work his way back up again. And it sounds like because he must have been hardworking and he must have been really good on set, because people were recommending him for other roles and people were giving him chances. But it sounds like he was given those chances in a way that a lot of other actors have not been, coming off as something as so controversial in Korea as drug use.
I think part of that, from what I read, was that he originally, because they tested him so late, like a year after it had all gone down, he basically got arrested a year after the usage, right? So he wasn't like he got off a plane on a bender and they arrested him. They arrested him in a bus a year later. So there was nothing in his system that said that he actually had taken drugs. So he could have walked away. He could have been like, see, I've tested clean, I'm fine. But he admitted to it. And so from what I read, the judge and the prosecution said, well, the fact that you're admitting it and you are remorseful of it, even though you didn't have to do this, they gave him a suspended sentence, and then his people threw him in the military. And they were like, go hide for a few years, we'll figure it out. But so I do believe he was blackballed from NBC for quite some time.
So for those of you who are members of the KThree, we are going to drop for you a very special members-only podcast, which will give you our unfiltered thoughts on a couple of the drug scandals that we have seen occur with some of our favorite actors, and just our own opinions on what they've been going through.
Yes, our opinions. Our spicy opinions. So Along with the Gods for me. And then we also did go to see The Spy Gone North. And so I kind of caught Ju Ji Hoon on this upswing of his career between dramas and movies. And I was just enraptured with his comedy skills, his drama skills. Like, I don't know where he became such a good actor, because as you said, he came like model into acting, but clearly he paid attention when he was on set, because he has really become such a dynamic presence as an actor that it's just. And then Kingdom, please, are you kidding me? The very first Netflix K-drama with Bae Doona and zombies, like, I could rewatch that thing at like weekly. It's so good.
That drama just had us obsessed for, in the time that it took for Kingdom 1 to drop and then Kingdom 2 and then Ashen of the North. And then we are still waiting for his story. What did they call it? Yeah, Kingdom, the Crown Prince. Still waiting for that one. Still waiting for Kingdom 3.
Desperately waiting for that one. I guess I was reading an article, even he's like, everyone always asks me, and he's like, she's working on another show right now. So as soon as she tells me we're ready to go, we're going to do it. He's like, but it's nice to hear that people want it. We're like, we so desperately want it. It's like one of the best dramas I've ever watched.
And I think for someone like him who's been through a lot and is much older and really kind of, fell into acting as a model and then really kind of found whatever it is that could really feed his craft, plus a little controversy, plus military, plus being a man in Korea, like somehow in this Prince character, you find all of this doubt, you see all of this strength, you see all of this growing confidence. It was just like this kind of amazing character that we totally fell in love with, but it was also so well written.
And again, interesting that we say this because again, romance wasn't part of it. Him and Bae Doona didn't have a romance, though I want one.
There was chemistry.
There was chemistry, though. Their chemistry in all of their press conferences, I was like, okay, I can have romance in season 3. I'll totally take the nurse and the prince in season 3 because I love them. I love them so much. But they had amazing chemistry. But we didn't love it because it was a romance. We loved it because it was just such great storytelling and acting. And like you said, the chemistry and just the drama of it all. It was just so good. And the political intrigue. Oh, God.
Oh, so good. And so then coming off of that, his next project was Hyena.
Hyena.
Hyena, right? One of the best ever. Oh my gosh.
I completely fell in love with him in Hyena. I've never been like, he was so heartbroken through the whole thing that I was just like, Punkin, I'm so sorry. Like, he tried to hide it. He tried to be sassy. And he just did Heartbroken so well that I fell in love with him for sure.
But again, his chemistry with Kim Hae Soo was just off the charts.
Off the charts. Like, it was crazy. It was ridiculous.
There was so much sass and swagger in both of them that it was just like, as Gen X women, to have him paired with a woman who was not like 25.
Right?
She's just, when was Kim Hae Soo born?
I'm 4 days older than her. I'm sorry, 3 days
are
older than
you?
her. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
She's September 2, I think. September 2, 1970.
Yeah, so she's in her 50s. And so we loved her even more.
Right? That she just crushed Ju Ji Hoon like a grape. So good. It was so good. Yeah. Unfortunately, he followed that up with Jirisan.
No.
Which should have been amazing. Because it was him and Jun Ji Hyun. And they were like park rangers of Jirisan, right? And there was some mystical fantasy stuff going on. It should have been a shoo-in for me. And it was such a hot mess.
Because it was written by Kim Eun-hee, who had written Kingdom. It should have been amazing.
Should have been. It was not. It was not. But I watched the whole thing. Why? Because Ju Ji Hoon was there. He has become that actor for me. I'm like, oh, Ju Ji Hoon's in it. All right, I'll sit through the whole thing. Okay. Yeah. It was disappointing.
So that was 2021. And then did he do some films? Because he didn't appear in a K-drama again until 2024.
He bounced over to some films. He did Hunt, Gentleman, Project Silence, Ransomed, and then they've been teasing us with Along with the Gods 3 and 4 on my drama list for years now. So I don't know if that's ever happening. But he did do 3 other movies that he was a main character in: Gentleman, Project Silence, and Ransomed.
And then he came back to us in Drama Land with like one better than the next. And pretty, like a real variety of shows and characters. So, oh my gosh. His chemistry in Blood Free with Han Hyo-ju. Oh
my God.
It was so good. He played her bodyguard.
Oh my God.
What is that with the bodyguard character?
I even read an article with her, and she was like, even we were like, this isn't a romance, but this is reading like a romance. Like, should this be a romance? And we're all like, I was reading, I'm like, yes, it should be. It absolutely should be. We all believe it is. Even you believe it is as the actors. Like, come on, just give it to us.
It was so good. It was such a strange story,
Yeah.
but it was really good. Like, she's the CEO of a biotech company that manufactures, fake meat. And he's her bodyguard, injured in a war zone. Oh my God. It was so good.
Right? I think it was so good. It was ridiculous. And this one was written by the same person who wrote Stranger. So again, really well executed, a great script, though I felt like the ending left us hanging. And so I feel like we should be getting a season 2. Like, it just so left us like with so many questions. That was my biggest complaint with Blood Free. Like, Is he dead? No, he's not dead. Is she dead? Who's dead? What's happening? Like, it just ended so weirdly that I think we all are clamoring for more of those two together, for sure.
And then we had Love Your Enemy and Light Shop at the end of 2024.
Huh?
Kind of 180s from each other.
Yeah. It was so interesting to watch both at the same time, too. Because like you said, Marisa, it was like, Love Your Enemy, he was Ju Ji Hoon. Like, I felt like he was just Ju Ji Hoon. Like, he was kind of that, he was like a little puppy in love, but he wasn't like overly ridiculous, but he was funny. His comedy chops were solid. But he was a really good romantic lead, and it was him and Jung Yoo-mi, and they had nice chemistry. It was not like blood-free chemistry, but it was nice chemistry. And then that hard pivot into Light Shop. Oh, wow, that was just. It was just, he just has shown us such a palette of acting this year. It's been amazing.
Light Shop was fascinating. It had all these fantastical elements, and he was very kind of stoic in it. And then there was kind of a light switch with his character, and it became really heartbreaking and sentimental. And it was a fascinating drama. And it came at the very end of 2024. I'm not even sure we put it on our list because we hadn't finished it yet, but it turned out to be really good. And is there a part 2? That's my question of the podcast. Is there a part 2 to this thing? Is there a part 4 to this thing?
I feel like everything Ju Ji Hoon does, we're like, are we getting more? Because we need more. Let's have more. I feel like Light Shop, it is Kung Fu, and it was within the moving universe that people seem to think that either at some point there will be a crossover or there will be more in each individual universes, is what I read. And it did well. It did well over on Disney. So I think
that's right.
It should, and Kung Fu really is just kind of crushing it on Disney with moving and now Light Shop. So I feel like
we almost missed the epilogue at the end of Light Shop.
That's
which kind of put the universes together.
Right. So so they've kind of melded those two universes, and so it's kind of it'll be interesting to see what we get when whichever. I think moving season 2 is where they're working on that now. So it'll be interesting to see what we get there. Maybe Ju Ji Hoon will make an appearance.
And then the Trauma Code Heroes on Call. We talked a little about it in our Everyone's Obsessed segment earlier in the podcast, but my Lord. He was all the Ju Ji Hoons in one character.
He was all of them. Every single one of them. He was so enjoyable and so over the top, and so like the scenery that was chewed was magnificent. And it just reading up on the Trauma Code and reading for this podcast and doing some research, like Ju Ji Hoon was dedicated to this show. Like he almost like basically kind of helped produce it. Like they would have meetings. Like he really wanted to honor the character and make sure that things went well from webtoon to screen. And I just have loved reading the articles from him, basically being like, kind of going back to what you said earlier, where you know that the man has lived some life. The one comment that he made that I thought was really interesting was he was like, people think that I'm rude, but I'm not rude. I'm direct. He's like, but people in this society want everything to be polite in a hierarchy, but it takes too long to get an answer. So if all we're going to do is kowtow to what the director wants, it's not a conversation. And it was just I loved how refreshing he was about let's just get it done and get it done well. Everybody should have a say. And this is how collaboration works. And I just found it to be such a delight to listen to read his articles about that.
I think he's got so much to lose at this point that he's really invested and he takes care. Frankly, it sounds very American of him to be so direct,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like he just has it just seems like he's a completely different mindset, especially when he's working. And it just was really interesting to read up and listen to. Like even to the one point where I think we joked about this in our live one time, like in the one scene, even Ju Ji Hoon in the one article, he was like, I fought that to the bitter end. He's like, but the director needed his emotional beat. But we all laughed about how he was doing emergency surgery, trauma surgery on the one doctor's daughter. And everyone comes busting into the operation room. And Ju Ji Hoon is like, you can't contaminate a room like this. You can't come in here. And everyone was like, we need the drama. And he's like, I lost that fight. He's like, I gave up on it, but I fought hard, you guys. I fought hard. I knew that it was bad. And I just thought it was so funny.
It's kind of amazing to hear that he takes such care of the production, like how important it is to him. Like he's not just showing up on set, you know, taking pictures in front of like a coffee truck and then saying his lines. It's like he's so invested in the projects. And I think it shows because it's meaningful to him. Like he's earned this career that he has.
Yeah. You can tell that the scandal that derailed it and almost cost him everything really has made him like want to take care of it now. It's really interesting. He knows that it's something that is his to make or break. And it's just really interesting to watch that process as he gets older. So yeah. Ju Ji Hoon.
Oh, we love him.
So much. So much. Well, there it is, you guys. That is February. That was a lot of fun. Like, I feel like we got some exciting dramas coming our way. We've got Ju Ji Hoon to keep us company if we get bored. We have so many of his to watch.
So if you want to become a member and get access to our unfiltered opinions, you can go to our ko-fi.com/the K3 page and join there. And then you can also sign up for our newsletter because Jen comes up with this very handy dandy weekly calendar because as we know, K-dramas are all over the place now. They're so hard to find and they keep coming at us fast and furious. So this is a way to keep track, especially with all the exciting casting news that we told you about in this podcast. So your support means everything to us. We love hanging out with you guys. We love talking to you. Be sure to join us on our live chat every other week on YouTube. And that is where we get to dig in and talk to each other live. And it's the best. Right? Because maybe you don't have anyone in your life that you can talk K-dramas with.
We are your K-drama crew. And if you get a chance, if you're watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed what we have and want to see more of it, please go ahead and give us a like and a follow. If you are listening to this on whatever podcast carrier that you listen to, please go ahead and give us a follow and leave us a comment about what maybe you'd like to hear us deep dive next time. So until next month, you guys, we really appreciate you guys supporting the channel and supporting us, and we will see you in March. Bye.
All right. Bye.